Scano, Sego, Ani, good evening. All of these beautiful faces and all of the beautiful relatives waiting to connect with us. It's so amazing. I'm receiving messages right here saying, am I in the right place? You are. You're in the right place, and it's wonderful to be able to have this opportunity to share some time with the grandmas and say hi, honor grandmother Moon, and just hear these beautiful words that will be shared. So, Yawa, for joining us, everyone. Hi, grandmas.
So, welcome everyone. I hope everyone's dressed appropriately in the cold blizzard. We always, as women, we were always, we improvise. Nothing could stop women. You know that. We always had that. Well, we can't do it here. We can do it another place. And that's what we have done. And with the help of the ancestors, we were able to do this. And so at this time, we'll gather up our minds. I would like everyone just to take in a deep breath, ground their feet to the floor, take another deep breath. Just imagine the smell of that winter air, the snow, the stars. Take another deep breath and smell in the silence of the winter night. Feel the breeze as it blows upon our face. And so now we will give thanks. We look up into the sky world and we see that our mother and our grandmothers and all of them, the ancestors, have always been a guardian to help to bring understanding. And so we like to acknowledge many of our mothers. Some of us are very blessed to still have their mothers, and others have their mothers have gone on. So tonight we acknowledge our mothers, the ones that were a big part of our lives in bringing understanding. So at this time, we'll all think of our mothers and our aunties and our grandmas. This is a time of renewing that relationship. And so we give thanks to them. We give thanks for all their patience, because it takes a lot to raise a family, to raise a child. It takes responsibilities and it takes a lot of, as they say, determination when you feel like your strength is gone. And so this is why we acknowledge the grandmother, because she had gone through that. She was a single parent, as you would say, because she came here and she had a lot of things on her plate. How to feed her child, how to put a roof over her child's head, and all these things that a mother is thinking about. And she went through all that. She went through all those lessons. And so we like to acknowledge her this evening and to think of all the things that she has done for us, that she is still there instructing us on how to be. And so we will give thanks. So we give thanks because this is the most important thing that we are all to teach our children, how to give thanks to each and every one. And so we give thanks to all creation that has given us that support when we didn't think there was no one around. They were there watching and observing. So we like to acknowledge all those, and especially another one that very supported us, and that was the mother, her daughter. She was given a responsibility to guide us and to support us along with her. And so we like to acknowledge that female line in us. And tonight we bring in our brothers and our fathers and our husbands and all those too in a part of us in our time together. We're standing here we're bringing them in with us because they also need to know their grandmother. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for all the blessings that we have received from all creation, from the flowers to the colors and the smell and the fragrance, and to the animals, the insects. All of them have been contributing of looking after their mother and supporting us. And so we give thanks to all of them. We look and we see all the sustenance and the medicines And right now, it is we have been blessed with this beautiful gift, this blanket. Just like every mother, she has worked overtime and 24/7. You know, a mother is always on call, and that's the way she has been. So this time, we have seen the blessings that has been bestowed on us tonight. She has got a heavy blanket because she has done a lot of work this past year, in the past few years. And so she needs rest to restore herself. And so we cover her with this soft white blanket. And we give thanks because this blanket is also help to help us for the summer, because it will nourish the earth so that our gardens will not be dry. And so we give thanks for this big abundance of snow because it has a job to do. It not only covers her, but it also will take down the virus that is about. And so we are grateful that it is here tonight. And we are here to celebrate that gift of that blanket upon her. And all the animals, they know this. And those that live outside, they know this. And they give thanks for this beautiful night. We look up and we see the stars and all those, because you see, everything is of water, just like us. We are all of water. And so at this time, we acknowledge all the water that is about us. And that's why we are here tonight, to honor the water that is within all of us. And so we give thanks for all those gifts. It comes in many disguises, but most of all, it is of love that was given to us. And so we say thank you to all. We look and we see the trees, and we like to acknowledge them and give thanks that they are still fulfilling their duty. They are strong, and we see them as strong leaders among us, and we say thank you. We look and we see the birds that have sung their songs for us, and all the animals and how they are rested. We like to thank the deer, how he has come to give us the nourishment that we need for this season. And we like to acknowledge all those animals that they have given their life so that we can continue. And we look and we see all these magnificent things. We are truly blessed. We look and we see our grandmother, how she shines her face upon us and looks down with so much love that we say, thank you, grandmother. We see all her helpers. We see them in their glorious splendor. We see the thunder beings. We see all these magnificent thunder beings and the lightning, all those that have been helping us. We think of the winds that brought this gift of snow, and we say thank you. In the coldness, we give thanks. We look and we see all these magnificent things. Now we look and we see as far as our eyes can see. We have always been taken care of, for even the world has shown us, the natural world, that they are still existing. They are still fulfilling their duty. And so we give thanks. For wherever you see, there is a part of love. It is creation's love for us to help us to go through whatever challenge we have. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for those people that are mentors in our lives. We had one, and that was Handsome Lake. For he has shown us as a human, we're going to fall. But you know what? We can get back up and we can brush ourselves off and stand up and be the one that we had been chosen to be. And so we give thanks. Many of us will make that path, but many of us will always stand to help another person. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for the four beings that are always with us, and we thank them for always being there. They brought us here to this plane of the earth, to our mother, the earth, and they will take us back home when it is our time. And so we give thanks to them. And so that we see that everything has been put together for our wellness and our well-being. And so this is why we have gathered here tonight, to honor and to celebrate all this magnificent love that we have been given. And so we thank the one that has created all, for he had given her the instructions on how to help and support us. And so tonight we acknowledge the one that has created all. And so tonight, we acknowledge all the people that have gathered here tonight, and their families and their communities and all their loved ones. We also think of those that are in need of prayer, support, guidance, and healing. We send off our prayers to each and every one. And so this time we gather up our minds and we say thank you to all those that have been, as they say, gathered here to acknowledge and celebrate our life. as a human being because of our grandmother moon. And so we say, Oho, Nyawa, Miigwech. So tonight we are here as a gift of love. I want to thank her because how many of you looked up and knew this storm was coming? I don't like to watch TV. Wherever I get my news, I have to look outside. And the other night, when I was standing outside, and when the winter night, the night air, and I looked up in the sky and I saw how the moon was coming to her time to show her face. But I also saw a gift that she had. It was a ring around her. And that would represent almost like our skirts to put down, our skirts. And so I saw that as a sign of get ready because there's going to be a storm. You see, she's still always looking after us. And that is one of the most beautiful things because, all you have to do is look up into the sky and see that. So how many went out and got groceries? How many got prepared for this evening? It was coming. And this is what we are to do. We're always to be prepared. Never take anything for granted. That's how our people were. And so that's why we were always celebrating, saying thank you for this notice. If it wasn't for you, I would be stranded. And so the animals, they know too. And that's why we have gathered here. And so we brought our light. Yes, we have brought our light. I hope each one of you have your light with you. We've also brought our medicine and our fires. We also have brought our waters to honor and to celebrate this gift that we have been given. And this is our moon water. We've also been here as I would say, ambassadors of love, each one of us. And that is our duty and our responsibility because we have received that love. We have received that. And that's what we're giving out. Because once you receive such a good medicine, you don't keep it to yourself. The energy flows from you, the frequency flows from you, and it touches all creation. So tonight, we're going to help her. We're going to give her back the strength that she needs tonight. And we're going to give back the strength to all the trees and to all the creation. Because you see, they need it too because of what has been done. And so we're gathered here tonight to celebrate. And so with that, I'm glad you're here. And I hope you're nice and cozy and you're ready for a nice evening of honoring and celebrating. So could we have a song, Cindy? Is it Nukamis Cindy Lee?
Thank you, Grandmother Renee. I'm just thinking about what song, and what came to me was the one Nisa, and that one's about the grandmother, and that's just honoring and it's easy song, and there is hopefully as I sing it through, there will be others that can sing along with that with this song. Nisa, 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 Kainoeho, Kainoeho, Nisa, 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 Kainoeho, Kainoeho, Nisa, 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 Kainoeho, Kainoeho, Nisa, 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 kind away home, kind away home, kind away home. Too much.
Even by humming, you raise your vibration, and that is your inner drum. And so let's at this moment just hum for a while, and we'll bring that our drum to that ceremony of honoring and celebrating. And just like every grandmother you would hear in the kitchen or when she was sewing or when she was doing something, a grandmother was always humming. And so we will begin. In just that moment, you grounded yourself, you connected yourself to the frequency of Grandmother Moon. You see, she's always humming. Have you ever noticed that when you go outside, you can feel that rapture of so much love? That is so nice to hear that song. And so to help others get through that, this is what we can do as women. We can hum. That is a tradition that we have forgotten because all the grandmothers used to do that before. And they used to do that while they were working. Whenever they were doing anything, they brought their internal drum forward to help the people get through. And so I know I hear many people say, "Oh, I can't sing." Well, you sure can hum. And so I would like us to continue that, to carry on that original instruction of bringing that vibration up. And so I'm going to ask Gail, Grandmother Gail, to share some of her knowledge of Grandmother Moon.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be sharing this time with you tonight on this beautiful, perfect night. I mean, look out there, the sun is shining, and beautiful grandma has made her appearance. And it is a really important time, especially because it's the beginning of a new year for that healing and the love and the kindness that grandma has to offer. And I just want to say that it's a really good thing I was on mute because I was going to make my debut with the singing, but because I was on mute, nobody would have been able to hear me. So for me, that was a big plus. I didn't have to make my debut with my singing voice tonight. Um, Not that I don't sing. I mean, I love humming, and when I'm in the shower, when I'm in my car, I'm the best singer everyone has ever. I'm the best singer around, at that time. But um, it's great that at times we can, have those that have that special gift to bring awareness with their voice. It just sounds so beautiful to hear, the different vibrations that singing creates and humming creates, and the humming of grandma and even Earth Mother. She has that hum too. For those of you that have ever been on one of uh, the ley lines, you can actually hear the heartbeat, and it's not like a heartbeat like badoom badoom. It's so it's so deep, but it lasts for a long time. So instead of hearing ba boom ba boom ba boom, you'll hear one, and then it will be a long, 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 long time before you hear another heartbeat. Uh, I just wanted to, honor Grandma by saying that, it's the moon that is our that dictates everything. It dictates the waters, the tides. It dictates. I guess it's kind of like life itself. The cycles of the moon, they dictate everything that that we see in the nighttime sky and even in the daytime sky as well. And I just wanted to just let you know that there's a real simple thing that you can do. And this thing is called moon bathing. So moon bathing, it's the simplest thing you could do. It's like taking a walk outside, putting your face up towards grandma, and just allowing the essence of her energy to take away all your hurt and pain and all your troubles and all of those things that have plaguing you for the month. And we can do this every night. I mean, we can do this, we can use the moon as this beautiful time every night. And even if we can't see her, she's there. And I just want to share one little story about that. So, a few years ago, I had just kind of started working a lot with crystals, and I had this very special crystal, and it had been charged, and it had been, waiting, and we were doing a full moon ceremony, and it was dark and it was cloudy, like, and my wish was if you could only peep out for just a couple seconds, just a short time, just to acknowledge that I'm on my path with the work of this crystal. And so we're going through the ceremony, and praying and praying and praying. And sure enough, just before the ceremony was over, she showed. She showed just for that brief few seconds, and then she closed back up. And again, you don't understand sometimes, how powerful your prayers are, how powerful your energy is. And, just asking that simple request. And it was like, wow, it's granted. And so you feel so humbled when those kinds of things happen to you. And, and it really helps you to like ground real deeply, knowing that yes, I'm on my path. Or when you get those answers that you're asking, and they're answered in a way that isn't through a book or a medium or somebody else telling you. It comes deep from your intuition, deep from within. So when you're mood bathing, and you're just walking and you're just taking that energy of beautiful grandmother into your heart and soul, it's as if you're cleansing and cleaning. So a lot of people know energy as chakras or energy centers, and that moon really helps just to align you and to balance you. And it's like you're taking a note and you're making that request. Please, I know that things are tough for me right now. I'm just asking for some of your blessing. And you put your hands out and you look up towards grandma, and you take some nice deep breaths, and you just feel that energy coming and just bringing up your vibration and making you just feel so much better, even though sometimes you don't know that it's that easy. So one of the things that we might discuss is simplicity. Simplicity, that's life. Simplicity. And so many times we're trying to make a big thing out of like everything, and it's just that simplicity that helps. So the sun or the moon is so bright, and our darkness sometimes is so dark. And so it's the during the full moon, when that moon is able to light up the sky, light up that darkness, so that you can shed it. And so again, that's another powerful way of looking at the energy of grandma and the ability for something really special. So this is a special time because we all know that, and we've probably heard it, that we are made of water. So every cell has 70 something, 30 component. And we have all those fluids in our body, and we know about the tides and how the tides during the full moon were more heavy. So imagine the snowstorm. Look at the moon. The moon is beautiful and full. And so that also kind of created the storm, like the flow of the storm. as well. So there's a connection there. So had the moon been in a different phase, the storm might not have been so powerful. But we needed this, like we needed this storm. We need the energy of the elements. We need the energy of, Grandma saying, "You needed a cleansing. You need a blanket." Well, here's our gift to you, and for us to be able to have that ability to say, "Yeah, I'll go," or "Thank you so much," for this powerful gift. I mean, we have other things on our mind, and to be able to really embrace these gifts that we've been given with it being a full moon and the height of this beautiful storm. What an amazing blessing this is. It makes us feel like we can, I guess what it does, it sets the tone. So you use this time now to set the tone for what you would like to manifest. I also um, am lucky that I know a little bit about that Mayan calendar. So we just ending, a cycle in the Mayan calendar, and we're starting another. And so we left Kwak, which is the storm, and all of that energy. So for me, it was fitting to see that all of these things happen, synchronicity, at its best again. But I guess it's the love, and it's the caring, and it's the outpouring of energy that we get during this time that gives us that ability to look forward to our new cycle. Um, Sometimes we get too caught up in our day to day, being computers and everything physical, and this opportunity to acknowledge that other side, that side where it all began, the side where it all will end, that cycle of beauty, and that cycle of deep commitment to our sacred self. These things are what we honor Grandma Moon for that reset and that recharge. So I would love to um, pass it to I don't know, Jackie, Cindy Lee, whoever would like to speak next, so that we can get another perspective as well. Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Sego, it's gonna go again. I'm just so grateful to be here and to be sharing space with all of you. I guess I was really hoping and planning up until like last night to be doing this in person in our community, and I know some folks were still kind of hoping that as well. But yeah, when you said about preparing, and some folks are really able to see and to know what's coming as far as the weather, being able to read that natural world and to see what we might be in store for. And so going through, it started off just like soft and gentle, and it took a while to even layer anything. And then it was like, wow, like when you talk about listening to those messages and those voices, well, those thunder beings, I'm not sure if it happened in other places, but right here in Niagara, oh my gosh, it just kind of bounced me out of my bed about 3:15 this morning. And so with us, with our teachings, it's like, okay, you pay attention to those, you listen to those, and then you put your medicine down for them. Because you sometimes you don't know. Well, they're the ones that bring the rains or bring that moisture, but sometimes you don't know what that's going to be all about. And so I guess when we put our medicine down, it's kind of asking or just putting our thoughts and prayers that things are going to be okay, that we're going to be okay, and that that natural world is going to have pity on us, and just to take care of things what needs to be taken care of, but also to be able to, for us to be able to do what we can in that appreciation. And I think in some of the words that have been shared here, it's just more reminders for us, like to um, look at that kind of that simple life, I guess. Sometimes we need to reset that, and as great and as beautiful as like this virtual stuff can connect us with different folks like far and wide. um, we do need those kind of those intimate circles as well, um, in our communities. And so um, when you look at those simple things and make the best of what is presented before us, and I know like there were some of our youth that we're just so hoping they're supposed to go back to school today, and just so hoping that there's going to be a snow day, and voila, some of them, the majority I know, were really happy. There were a few maybe not so happy, but the majority were pretty happy with this snow day. And I was talking with some neighbors down the street, and I can't remember, like, I can remember, and it's been a long time since we've had this much snow at once accumulate like this. And my one of my girls, she was just a little toddler, and it's all you could see was just her little hat, the little pom pom thing on her hat, just going along the snowbank, and it just like, wow, like this blanket of snow for our mother is so needed. And I've watched the waters throughout this last while too, because they've all been raised. They've all been raised. There's more waters in the creeks and streams than is usual for this time of year. And now we thought, and I was thinking like, whoa, we're gonna have to really watch like our families and everything around us in that springtime, because those waters are going to be really flowing fast and furious, I think, because like this is a lot of snow that has to go somewhere. And when it starts melting down, it goes back to our mother. And so those waters are just so important within everything. And like Gail mentioned, like our bodies, every part of our being depends on that water. And I think that with our grandmother moon and kind of blessing those waters when we put that out there, to help us to have those special waters, for our medicine, so that we're able to use it throughout our time in the days ahead. And just to recognize and to know that, wow, we do need to prepare, and we do need to um, make things simple. Like there's there's nothing that we could do this morning in waking up, with nobody could go anywhere, like right now, my like our street is still, well, it hasn't been plowed, and it probably won't be for a couple of days yet. And but it gets us out there. It gets us talking to neighbors. It's get us that little our communities touching base again, And I think that's what some of the messages are that we need to look at. And not only those physical families that we have, but when we can look up into the heavens and our grandmother moon and recognize and see what that all is about for us, And all those stars in the heavens representing our ancestors, they're there to help us as well. They're there to help guide us. All of those things in the heavens are here to help us, guide us along on this path. And um, and when we look at that grandmother moon, the one thing that I remember that has been shared with me is that we have the two suns, and she's called the nighttime sun, and it also shows us that balance within all of those different energies, the male and the female energies that we have, and the balance within everything. And so I think that's some of those reminders for us to look at, and she comes regularly, within those cycles to help us in building up, and then in that resting period as well. And there's all scientific words to explain what all happens, but we know within our bodies also what happens. And so that connection that we can have, to our grandmother moon, to our ancestors, the stars, they can help us so much on this journey. And when we're able to have that kind of ebb and flow of things, that we can be kind like in a good place, so that we can adjust, adjust accordingly to whatever we need to and whenever we need to. And so um, that was, to me today, that was one of the big messages today, because if you were planning on going off opening your door, if you could open your door, then going off your steps, you had to do some work to be able to do that. And so part of it was just like, okay, you just roll up your sleeves. Okay? You know what you need to do. You can pace yourself. You can take your time and maybe have a couple of helpers, younger helpers, because grandmother Renee was talking about, okay, preparing. How did you prepare? Okay, because you knew, you heard, and did you go shopping so that you've got some supplies in place? Yes, I can tick that off my ticky box. But also, I connected with one of our grandsons. Nice, young, energetic young man. So I sent him off a text and made arrangements that if and when we get the snow, because sometimes you don't always get what they're saying. And for us here in Niagara, a friend of mine calls this tropical Niagara, because we do miss a lot of the crazy weather. And so I just made arrangements with him that when and if this snow came, is he able to come over and to help us to shovel us out of here? So no problem. He didn't even hesitate, and it wasn't even minutes before he responded and confirmed that yes, he can do that, and he'll be over. So there's things that we can do beforehand, with that prevention of things to help us to be in a good place. And that vibration, yeah, I always like hearing things about raising your vibration. And there's so many things that you can do to raise your vibration. And that's one of the things that I really like doing, is what Gail mentioned, is just, and I share that with folks too, is just like, if you're feeling, or if you're feeling a little heaviness, or even not, it's so beautiful to go out in that moonlight. You can see your shadow on the ground. Even when Grandmother Moon is at her halfway mark, you can see your shadow on the ground. And now I'm hoping that, yeah, we're going to have nice clear skies, because, wow, it's going to be beautiful out there in that moonlight tonight. So, and we might have to put that prayer out there that Gail mentioned, and just show yourself just for a split second, even, just a couple. But you need to also be out there at the time. So just keep checking it out, and be able to embrace that moonlight, embrace that good energy to help in your walk. So I just say Nyawa and Chi Miigwech and everyone here, and I see like there's a lot of different folks here, so I'm just so grateful to be here amongst you all. Thank you. Nyawa.
So, Cindy, will you share? It is so nice that, when we really do ceremonies, we all have our own unique way of honoring. Sometimes we do 5 rounds, sometimes we do 4 rounds. It depends. I have had mine. Now we start about, I would say about 7:30, and some of us haven't left till about 12 o'clock, and it depends on their mood if they're willing to stay. And so our moon ceremonies are very unique, and it comes from the heart. So if you go to a moon ceremony, um, always have an open mind, because everyone has been given a way to do this. And so when you go there, you're just going to be wrapped in a lot of understanding and a lot of love, and why we do this. And so this is right now it's called the Big Spirit Moon. And also to us, it's very symbolic because it represents that new moon. I mean, a new beginning for us, new year, new year. And so with that, we have our we would have a celebration. And so grandmothers would you would go to a house when you were. Our duty was to share that goodness that you have in your heart. And Grandmother Moon tells us that after the 5 days after the new moon, we're going to be in big ceremony. And so this is why we we acknowledge everything that we do, and we acknowledge her. And one of the things that I have is I love these little. These are my little gingerbread cookies, and this was to be given out to. In our way, the women were always acknowledged. So at New Year's time, it was the time of acknowledging the father's line, and so I deliberately would go to my dad's relatives so I would get the special donuts. So, so this was one way of celebrating what grandmother has prepared us. She says, now it's ceremony. Now these are the things you do. This is a time of gratitude. And so we have just shared why we get together. We come together tonight to share with you. And in fact, this is a ceremony. This is what women would have done a long time ago, is gather in a woman's lodge, a moon lodge. And we would share these teachings with you so that you were aware. And so this is what we would call being in ceremony, because you were giving gratitude and you were learning to become a better person. And so I know we have a lot of moons, 13 moons, in fact. And so these moons each tell us a story. And so right now it is the big spirit moon. And I'm glad, because when you look out there and you see that wind, the early this morning, I saw how it was that big wind ripping that snow around. And I said, we're having an old fashioned winter. And I was very grateful to see that, because then I know it's ceremony time. It's really ceremony time when you see that, because they come and they help us to get ready for preparing for that new life, that new year, that new beginning. And so I just thought when we sit here and listen and hear each other speak, we are reminded of so many things. And this is why it's so nice to have grandmothers sitting together and sharing how to be at this time of the moon. And so, Nukumis, Cindy Lee, would you share?
I was just looking at the water and the importance of that water, and I'm hoping that those in the circle have some water with them and be able to honor that. I mean, water is one of the elements of all of our ceremonies, and it is also one of the life energies that we need. There's many things that we need as two-legged as the experiences of relatives within the earth, but water is so very important. And as Grandmother Gail spoke about earlier, the water is also really important in the way that the water is specific in the way that it makes up a lot of our body. So with that, it carries a lot of memory as well as carries a lot of things that we can put into that water. So when we're having our water in the ceremonies, in all of our ceremonies, the water starts to carry those energies of that good healing, and particularly in our full moon ceremonies, we have our water that's always here. And sometimes we will have our water, in a glass or in a copper vessel, but to be able to really embrace the medicine of the water and the gifts that it provides for us is important as everybody, for men and women. I love what Grandmother Renee was talking a little bit also about of time of old. And these circles that we have and these ceremonies, we have that opportunity to be able to share. And as women, we would have been in those lodges and listening to the stories and having the conversations around, the various teachings that we would have needed as women, and being able to envision too, to be able to receive those visions. It's a really powerful time. The grandmother, it's always beautiful to see the grandfather in the sky and the grandmother in the sky as well. And in between that really sacred time that we look up and we see both. And I know this morning when I woke up with the snow, I was really excited about the snow, and it just felt so good to be out in it. And I did remember seeing that circle around the moon and watching the animals prepare, and all of a sudden it got very quiet, and where I am, it's a little easier to kind of hear some of those nature around us, like the birds and the different squirrels and stuff like that, but they all were taking stillness. And even our cat got kind of quiet, and and they just know, like, it's that there's something, right? So in paying attention, and we would have learned those things in these teachings, and how to embrace our wellness, and be able to bring that energy of that grandma, which is with us, the first woman of creation, right? So for all of us, even our men. And so it is important. And I know in some of the ceremonies that I've been in, that the women, that the men have also been a bit part of that, keeping that sacred fire and ensuring that sacred fire is being kept. And so that the women have that time to be able to offer their prayer ties or their prayer flags, the tobacco, that sama, and offering up the prayers and asking for that healing, and just being able to, as Grandmother Gail talked about, bath in that grandmother's energy. And just looking at that wellness and that balance, as Grandmother Jackie spoke about as well, that importance of being able to come into a balance with that grandmother that's there, that beautiful energy of that first woman. And so the men would have that responsibility to look after the fire, and they could have their teachings too, and they could offer up their own gratitude and connection, because it is their grandma too, right? And so they could do that piece as well. And then us women, we would have all kinds of wonderful teachings, and as Grandmother Renee spoke about, we could be talking for a very long time, depending on how long and how people were engaged. And one of the beautiful things I find that in ceremony is that when you're in ceremony, and I really do enjoy the ceremony at this time of year. And if it wasn't for that real strong wind, to just be out there, it's just amazing. It's just so, it's so healing, and there's so much energy that comes with the ceremony. But I remember being and nobody was cold, and it's almost like this beautiful protection comes around you when you are coming in relationship with the elements, and with this with everyone becomes of one mind and one heart, and all the relations around us, including the snow and the elements and the wind, and also are supporting. And I remember just asking in that good way for the cloud nation to sort of kind of just part a little bit, so we could that grandmother would be able to come through, giving gratitude to that nation, the cloud nation, thank you, and the wind nation that sort of moved them, right, just to give the gratitude, thank you, for that. And to be that is then how we're all connected, and how that when we place, how connected and deeply is that connection to all our relations, right? And so I remember those days, and I was really looking forward actually to also wanting to get out and be on the land, and be able to have those circles, And it's interesting because when you're in circle, you feel like there's this warmth, and it's for a period of time, and you can kind of get this sense as you move. You start to feel like the moments, like, okay, it's almost, there's also this, how can I put, like, the ceremony takes the length of time it needs to take and what needs to unfold. And everything is so connected that we then begin to say, oh, we start to feel maybe a change in the temperature. And it's like, oh, things are changing a bit because everything is working together. Okay, we're here, and now we're coming to that place of maybe closing or finishing that ceremony if we're outside. So I hope that maybe you could have a piece for the water for everybody that does have their water here, and that we can, have our waters in our hands, and that we can, really place our gratitude and give gratitude and thanks for our water. That's so important for our wellness and for the Earth Mother, because it is the blood of the Earth Mother. It's her energy. It's her circulatory. It's what feeds her. And when we think of where the water comes from, it comes from really deep within the earth. And so, we always want to honor that water. And if you have an opportunity to have that water be able to be in the moonbeams of that full moon in the window, or just to be able to just even maybe put your coat on later and you stand out and you just connect, be able to connect with that water and the energy of that moon. But a song that comes to mind is just giving that gratitude, if that would be okay, would be about the water. And it does talk a little bit about the water, where it comes from, and the formation of the water within the earth. And I'm just going to say the phrase one time and I sing the full song. It is a sacred song. And we say, Nibi Waba Endaya Ashki Mishki Nibi Wabo. So we're talking about that water that's in the earth, and giving thanks for the medicine water that comes up from that earth, full of life and everything that we need in all relations, and journeys its way up through, looking after all relations, and then turns to the sky, and then comes back down through, and we see as rain. But it comes from within the Earth Mother. So she's giving and that connection there. So I just want you to think about that water, and it's part of our ceremonies. It's part of definitely most of our ceremonies. Water is part of that, but the full moon is really important to have, and asking that blessing from that grandmother moon, or that sun at night, as Grandmother Jackie spoke about, those two suns, one in the day and one at night. So with that, it's a Chime Gretchen. Just turn that back over to Grandmother Renee. Passing the virtual, we're passing the virtual, not quite the virtual eagle feather, the tobacco, the summer, the virtual, we're passing that across. And I just love this. You probably see we're all burning our medicines as each one of us are talking, which is just, it's really beautiful to see. So, too much.
So this is very helpful to many. Maybe many of you are newcomers, and some of you are all pros at this by now. And we just like to share what some of our teachings in regard to Grandmother Moon. And I noticed last night she was out very early. Did you notice that? She was out way high up in the sky. It was only about 5 or something like that. And I said, oh, she must be anxious to show her face. And tonight, I went out there to look, and I couldn't see her. And they tell us that just like Nokomis, Cindy Lee talked about the daytime sun and the nighttime sun. And when they're together, that's another time to stand out there and absorb their energy, because they're giving you healing. And they said it's really a good time if you see them both at the same time. You stretch your arms out. It's just like your grandpa and your grandma are going to be taking care of you. That's how I was told. So Gail, would you like to share more? I know you have a lot of knowledge of this moon, teachings, and so I'd like to hear some more from you, please.
Oh yeah, you know, the simplicity of life. I always go back to simple because that's something that people have to hear. They have to hear that, if you look back at our communities in time past, it was simplicity. It was, there are things that need to be done, and we need people to do them, and it was that simple. Um, Even though the work wasn't simple, and the needs weren't always simple, but it was something that was just natural to us. And so in this time of tablets and computers and all the luxuries that we have, our disconnect is pretty obvious. And we have a lot of people who want to find their culture, and they want to come back to their ways. They want to know who they are. And sometimes it's as simple as taking that bath, or taking the time just to walk in the woods, and it's just the way of life. And so we put too much emphasis sometimes on nation and clan, and belongings, and all of these different things, um, when you're out there acknowledging all that is, you are simply a humble being in the eyes of our maker, or our creator. And we all can do that at any time and any place, even during the day when that beautiful sun is out there shining so brightly, to feel the warmth of that beautiful the beautiful rays of that warm sun. That is again healing. So that's also that balance that we're talking about. So you have that day and you have that night balance. And and that's with everything. It's with the way that we go through each day, or the way that we um, do our daily activities. We kind of change our life according to certain things. So I guess when we kind of get stuck in the modernness of today, that's kind of um, shows how people get blocked up as well. So a lot of people ask for, gee, I feel like I'm blocked. I just need to, move something in my system. And so the energy of the moon can be that very powerful source that helps with those changes. It's like putting your foot forward. You're taking the time to do that acknowledgement, and in the end, you're getting that blessing. And it's that simple. So I know that. When we also look at that simplicity, we look at water, and water, like water, really amazes me. And so with our moon water, um, how simple it is to infuse it with what it is that we need. What do we need? Do we need love? And we know that most people have a hard time feeling love. They feel like it's something foreign when we all carry that. And so the easiest way to, infuse us with that love is to infuse our water with that love. Once we infuse that water with our love, then um, we sit it with our grandmother. Our grandmother, blesses this water, and then when we share or we take this water, that's how we feel what that love is. And love has many definitions. One of the definitions, I guess, of love is that feeling of such strong emotion that nothing that you're facing can bring you down. That's what love is. It's like feeling that really strong bond, and your bond is so strong that when different energies come, it can go and have that dissipate. Yeah, that's the right word. Oh my goodness gracious. Been a long day, and it's going to be another long day tomorrow. Um, but when you feel that love, our love is also the key to peace. What happens when our emotions are all riled up? What happens when we are high strung? What happens when our bodies are going through many different changes, disease, and different things? Well, those opportunities are actually blessings because they create a way for us to look deeper within ourselves. And when we are able to look deep within ourselves, then we're able to like say, what is my solution? I need a solution. What is my solution? And we all know the stories of, being able to sit under a tree, and sometimes that tree will take your sickness, and you will live, and that tree will sacrifice, and that tree will, you know, will shrivel up. And the same with fishing. You can do that with fishing. You have that really strong desire to live. Maybe it's because of your grandchildren or whatever, but you can put that out there again, and a fish will take that and end its life for you. I mean, we have also those that do that physically for us. Some of our people, they take that hurt and pain, and then they leave and they go to the spirit world. And this beautiful water that we carry with such love and such care. This is as simple as it gets, and I can see that my computer is starting to maybe fade away. I'm gonna have to plug it in a couple minutes. But I wanted to share that because people. And I guess we all go through that stage of looking for something and we don't know what it is. What are we searching for? What we're searching for is already within. It's already deep within us. It's deep within our heart, and that heart equates love. And if your heart is not balanced, then that can create, your digestive issues, because then you have all of the stress, and as most people know, most of your disease comes from your stress and the way that it affects your stomach and your digestion. How do I digest what I'm hearing? How do I digest what I'm going through? How do I what is the solution for that balance? And some people can find that balance, and some people don't know that they carry it within. They kind of depend on others and other things and other ways. But the this simple moon water, we're going to take this water and we're going to put it in this moonlight. And some people, it depends on what your belief is. Use your intuition. How long do I keep this water in the moonlight? Do I keep it a cycle? Do I keep it for a day? Do I keep it for a week? Do I keep it for overnight? It all depends on the strength of your intentions with this moon water. Broken heart isn't going to repair itself overnight, and we have to also give our time accordingly. We have to know that some things take a little more time than others to balance. So that's why I really enjoy the different phases of the moon of grandmother, because each the phase of each grandmother, the each phase of grandmother moon, let's rephrase that, has like this essence to it. And it's just like the sun, each phase of the sun, from that strong June sun to that not so strong winter sun, has an essence. And that's what we go through as people. We go through that time where we have to allow ourselves to be kind of like weaker, and then we have our strong points. That's just a flow, and that's the way that life is. So I hope that tonight you take home whatever is in your heart to balance, and I hope that you have that opportunity to look at that beautiful grandmother, even if she's not there, and even if you can't see her, she's there. And you simply just have to acknowledge, and you have to know. It's like a desert island. Do you have to walk on that desert island to know that it exists? You can see it. Maybe you can never get there, but do you believe that it's there? It's kind of like that same thing. Do you have to see it to believe it? Do you have to walk on the land in order to believe it? The moon is there, and it's there every night. Every night it's there. Every night for us to activate or deactivate whatever it is that we need to balance. So I think that's all I want to add for now. But I'm just hoping that you take the message of peace and the message of love, and you store it right within that heart center. And that heart center is what moves that fluid through your body. And you can move in and you can move out, whatever it is that you need to work out. So yeah.
Yeah. Good reminders of our relationship with our heart and our mind. We know that in all our journeys, there is a tree of life. And I have come to know that we are trees of life. We have family trees. And from your tree has been many seeds. And from your tree, you are part of that tree that your grandmother and your grandmother before. And that's what she brought, was when she came from the sky world, she brought the gifts of that tree of life. And so this is one of our instructions, was always to give thanks. And so tonight I'm going to ask each one of you to grab your water right now. And we're going to put in our love. And we're going to talk about our relationship with our trees. That can mean us. That can mean our forests. That can mean so many things. Our leaders, and this is what we need to think about on a regular basis, is to send the trees, a tree of life, a lot of love. Our trees are well. That means our trees are well. When we use "are well," not saying they will become well, but when we use those words, that vibration, we are well. It happens. And it happens because we're in ceremony. It happens because you're taking that water. And just like every tree, it holds its hands up to give thanks to all creation and thank that for all of the gifts that it has given. And so we are the tree of life. And so when you take this water, what it comes from that tree was that good water, that maple syrup that's going to come, that sweet water that's going to come. And that is the words, the vibration from that gift, that all what you have received tonight is a gift of love. And we put it in you. So now that it went through your body by hearing our vibration, what you are going to do now is hold that water. And I'm going to, if you kind of put your third eye, this is your third eye, to this, to your water, because you're going to put more energy into it. And you're going to, it's just like I've seen people greet each other head to head, from forehead to forehead. And it's done because they want to send that love. And so we're going to talk to the water. And I would like each one of you to repeat, with love, gratitude, and healing, I send this to you. With love, gratitude, and healing, I send this to you. And so we will begin. We will do it 4 times so that it goes out into the 4 directions. And when we're finished, we are going to drink that. And we now can keep, as they say, keep this water for whenever we are troubled, and that we can have it maybe on a daily basis to help our tree to be well. And so in closing, we are going to, in this last round, we're going to talk about the tree of life. And so we're going to begin with love, gratitude, and healing. We send this blessing.
We send this love.
With love, gratitude, healing, we send this blessing. With love, gratitude, and healing, we send this blessing. With love, gratitude, and healing, we send this blessing. You can use this water for wherever you have you're concerned about. It may be your thyroid, it may be your heart, it may be your liver, it may be your back. And what you do with that water is you can put it in your hand and put it wherever you need that so your tree can be well. And so this is some of the things that I have been instructed with is that you can use this water. I have seen the power of this water. In fact, I know I have had this gift of wellness because of this gift from the grandmother moon. And I know once we start doing this on a regular basis, even in the morning when you wake up, with love, gratitude, and healing, I send this blessing off to you. To those that are disconnected from their hearts, we'll send this prayer to all those leaders, to all those people that are in their trouble and their challenges. And so at this time, I call upon Jackie if she would do a closing for us, and then we could ask some questions after.
Yeah. So just with that, I guess with acknowledging that repetition of 4 with that prayer to also bring these 4 directions together and recognizing that when we come together, we're offering that gratitude of us coming together for this time. And then when we look at that east for the gift of enlightenment, it opens our minds, removing the poisons that sometimes creeps in, replacing it with clarity and honesty. We turn to the south for the direction of renewal, innocence and rebirth that teaches us and reminds us we all have that opportunity to start or change our day within every hour, within every minute, within every second. And then we turn to the west for the gift of introspection. It was mentioned that we have that peace, we have that love, we have all of these different gifts within. And so we were reminded to look at that within ourselves. And then we turn to the north for that gift of gratitude and thankfulness for all of the creatures, that they help us to remind us to be silly. They bring these different teachings to us. And then we also acknowledge and offer our gratitudes to the elders, that they help to teach us and remind us that there's a lot of negative things that are within our areas, that envy, jealousy. And when we come to this good place, we can set those things aside. And so with that, we offer our humble gratitude that Songgoen Disho, Creator, or God, whatever you choose to call that great mystery, has given each of us the gift of today and the gift of everything that's come together for this time, for us to carry, for us to use as a medicine for us on our journey. So we say Nyawa, Donato.
So we wrap you in a good blanket, just like creation is wrapping our mother, the earth, right now. And so please do not complain if there's a lot of snow. She needs that, just like you. You need self-care. And that is a good example of how creation is always reminding us of self-care. And so what we've done tonight was we send the message of self-care. Self-care for each and every one of you. So take this time, and I hope you have brought your fruits out too, to have some fruits. Enjoy. I'll set a plate out for on other grandmothers, and I will offer that up. And so at this time, if there's any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and we will do our best. But if there isn't, then we know we did our best.
Yeah, which I've been sitting in this space and just like loving what I'm reading and what you're sharing, and the love that you ladies have been sharing for the last 2 years. I'm going to say you have no idea the impact. I don't think. I know that when you're here, and there's so many ways for you to read the comments, but you're just so present for all of us out there, and to know that so many people are being reached is so humbling, wonderful. The feelings and that I'm feeling, my daughter, just the conversations that that are going back and forth from friends that are taking part in this this time and visit with us is beautiful. And I think, can you see them all now? Are you reading the comments or seeing any of them?
Yeah.
On your top right screen, it says, shows the comments. And these are just, everyone's saying no comment and no questions, just thank you. So many words. I know I'm going to pop them through, but I think that there was 100. There was a steady 115 people on with us just from this one stream with me. And through from the very beginning, I needed to be here. Thank you for having this. I needed this today. And like I said, you ladies have been so supportive of the people. And I'm just so grateful to be able to host and be here to invite, all of our relatives that really want to connect right now during this time. There's Winley celebrating with us all. So we can go back and they just followed your whole conversation. And there's just beautiful messages here. And then you can also read them if you visit the Facebook page or if you visit YouTube. So, and it was really wonderful to see you, Jackie. I'm so glad that you could make it. So many wonderful messages in this evening to really give people some ways to look to nature, to support them during these times. And it really, truly is. I spoke with one of our brothers, Kevin, this week, and he said, it's our time, Jody. It really is the time for our people, the Indigenous people, to remind others and remind each other that we're here for each other. And so, to you, Kevin, for reaching out to me this week, and for everyone else who continues to, send blessings and join Grandmother's Voice in our journey. Before we go, I just have to say, it was beginning of COVID when I met with the grandmas and Gail and Renee and Cindy Lee, and we said, it's lockdown. What do we do? And Renee said, we need to reach everyone. How do we do that? And we did it. We were like, we don't know, but let's do it. And so we did it. And so, and we'll see you next month. Maybe sooner. Actually, tomorrow night. I should actually put this in here right now. And tomorrow night is paint night. And then, with Moses. And then Wednesday, tea with Doda. We have a special guest, Dennis Windigo, and Neil. Neil is tied up. He has another date that night, Renee. So he did say he'll try to jump in. But if you can join us for either one of those, it would be wonderful to have you sharing this space with us. Yeah.
Good night.
Night.
Yamagoa and